The following tutorial is brought to you by WholeLoops.com.
It's production time. I'm Reid Stefan, Realest puppet in the game. Today, I'm showing you how to record a vocal directly into your interface and then process it in your DAW. I'm going to be using my Apollo X4 with my mic going directly into the XLR input and then dive into console to sauce up the signal before it gets recorded. So here inside of console, we're going to be saucing up Karra's vocal, and since we're running the Sony C800 straight into the Apollo X4, I'm going to be loading up a Unison preamp to sauce up this voice. So I'm going to grab the Neve 1073 preamp and load it up here. Karra, can you hear yourself okay?
Oh, am I supposed to do something?
Yes, we're actually making a vocal chain tutorial right now. We're trying to set up a vocal chain for you. So can you hear yourself?
Okay. Yes, I can hear myself.
All right, we got the preamp loaded up. I'm also going to engage the low cut, which actually engages the hardware low cut built into the Apollo, which is really tight. So I'm going to start out with the Manly Vox box because that gets us the closest to the finished product all in one plugin. Here it is. We got the sauce preset loaded up. So I'm going to load up some auto tune as well. We're going to grab real-time advanced and switch it into classic mode.
Hello.
So now we're going to add just a little bit of reverb to sauce this up. I'm going to load up the EMT 250. We can just leave this on the stock preset. So Karra's voice is sauced up and we're ready to record. Now, before we go, we just need to make sure that UAD recording is disabled and the blue UAD monitoring button is enabled. We want that blue button enabled so that all this sauce we have here in the console doesn't get recorded into our Ableton session, because we're going to be doing some new different sauce over in Ableton. All right, so now that we've got the levels set correctly and Karra's headphones are properly sauced up, Karra, does it sound right to you?
Sounds great.
So now we're going to go ahead and make our recording.
Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your hands touching me when I say so. Keep it low, I wanna make your mind explode when I hit it nice and slow with that bass drum. Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your hands touching me when I say so. Keep it low, I wanna make your mind explode when I hit it nice and slow with that.
That first take was exactly what we needed, so great performance by Karra, and let's jump in to some UAD plugins and process these vocal recordings. I always start out with a version of Auto-Tune on every single channel to help glue everything into the key of the song, which is F sharp minor, and I preferred the classic mode algorithm to give it the older Auto-Tune sound, and let's take a listen to the acapella with just the Auto-Tunes on it.
Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your hands touching me when I say so. Keep it low, I wanna make.
I'm going to start out with my favorite, the Manly Vox box, and this actually does a lot more than just compression. This is going to do some de-essing, this is going to do some EQing, quite a few things that I normally do to a vocal, all here inside of one plugin. So let's solo it, and let's see.
Keep it low, I wanna make your mind explode when I hit it nice and slow with that bass drum. Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your hands touching me when I say so. Keep it low, I wanna make your mind explode when I hit it nice and slow with that.
And now I want to apply this same plugin to all the background vocals here, but this would require me to open up a lot of the same instance of the same plugin. So to save CPU, I'm going to make a group called BGV, and we're going to process all these together. A little bit extra low cut and a little bit less of the high peak. Maybe a little bit more of the mid dip too.
Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your hands touching me when I say so.
Moving on to the next compression, I want to do an 1176, and I want to use the brightest one, which is going to be the Rev A, which is a blue face, and we're going to use this as a parallel compressor. So I'm going to hit Command G and make our 1176 this top channel, at about, let's try 15 decibels less, and let's do the highest ratio. So I just hold shift and click them all in, turn this up, and then pull this down to make up for it. And I'm gonna do the same parallel compression here on the background vocals, but instead of using the bright one, I'm gonna use the darker one just to give the background vocals something a little bit different.
Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your hands touching me when I say so. Keep it low, I wanna make your mind explode when I hit it nice and slow with that bass drum.
Do your vocals sound like they got no sauce? Are you tired of listening to harsh and overcooked vocal mixes? Introducing UAD Vocal Sauce, the warmest and most powerful sauce you'll ever drop on your vocals. UAD Vocal Sauce is available now only at wholeloops.com.
The next thing that I want to sauce these lead vocals up with is a little bit of reverb. So I'm going to pull up the Capital Chambers plugin, and I'm going to drop it after this rack, and we're going to make a new rack out of this because we're going to fill up an entire rack full of effects just starting with this one. So I'm going to hit Command G, create a chain, call this one chamber, and let's pull our chamber down to about -20.
Below, keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor.
And now I might want to duck this chamber a little bit to the dry vocal so that it doesn't quite interfere with it as much. So I'm going to drop a compressor on here, and let's just get it from this lead channel. And then this is set to pre-effects, which is perfect.
Below, keep it low, I wanna make your mind explode when I hit it nice and slow with that bass.
So now that's good for reverb. I think I want to brighten this up with some delays. Cooper Time Cube, drop it right here, 8th note. And now this is where it gets fun. I want to sauce these plain 8th note delays up. So I'm going to drop a preamp on it. Let's do the 610A, and we're going to do it before it. And we're going to invert the phase, distortion right here, and maybe some brightness here too.
Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your...
And then one more effect, I'm going to be using the Studio D chorus. So we're going to be adding some harmonics, brightness, and chorus to these 8th note delays.
Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your hands touching me when I say so.
And this is without the sauce.
Keep it low, I wanna make your mind explode when I hit it nice and slow with that bass drum.
And now I'm going to copy this whole effects rack down here onto our background vocals. Let's delete some of these. So I'm going to take this off and let's switch this out for a different reverb like the EMT 250. I want to do a longer reverb anyways. So let's do 4. See, these are sounding really nice. I want to group these up and drop a plugin on the group. This is called the inflator. I don't really know how to explain what this is doing other than just inflating it. It sounds really nice.
Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your hands touching me when I say so. Keep it low, I wanna make your mind explode when I hit it nice and slow with that.
Now to smooth all these out, I want to add a little bit of compression to it. Let's do the LA2A Legacy since this is the one everyone's got. I might actually drop it before here. Compression mode is good. I just want to turn the peak reduction down.
Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your hands touching me when I say so. Keep it low, I wanna make your mind explode when I hit it nice and slow with that bass drum. Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your hands touching me when I say so. Keep it low, I wanna make your mind explode when I hit it nice and slow with that.
Now the next thing I want to do is here in the background vocals, I want to filter them a little bit. So I'm going to use the Massenburg Designworks EQ, the 3-band version, and let's drop it before the Manley Vox box. So this is going to do a low cut and a high cut, and let's do them at like 250.
Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your hands touching me when I say so. Keep it low, I wanna make your mind explode when I hit it nice.
This is going to soften the background vocals ever so slightly, and I think I want to do a dip around 2.5 because that's always where some harshness ends up in the vocals. So why not just a nice little dip right there?
Keep it low, I wanna drop down to the floor with your hands touching me when I say so. Keep it low, I wanna make your mind explode when I hit it nice and slow with that bass drum.
Oh, I almost forgot about this little ad-lib here. I'm going to make a group, and we'll call this group our Hey group, and we're going to process these things all together as well. I'm going to drop something to beef these up. Let's do another 610A on the entire group. And we're going to add some brightness to them. And then we're going to add some reverb to them. And I'm going to drop a reverb that we haven't used yet. Let's try a lexicon. We'll do the 224. We'll just use the old wet dry control on here. I like that. A nice, quick, bright. And then maybe to make these even wider, I'm going to add an SPL Vitalizer after here, because one of my favorite reverb sauces is the stereo expander. Hey. Oh, so this is getting real loud, so we can turn this group down to about -3 now. And I want to add a delay to this too, like the Korg quarter note. And let's do some filtering too, because who doesn't love a saucy filter? That sounded really good. I think I'm just going to turn this back up a little bit more. A little bit more feedback too. So as you can see, we have 3 different groups of effects for the different groups here in your acapella, and that's really what brings these EDM vocals to life, is having a variety of effects, just like having a variety of different sound designs in the instrumental production works as well. And I even threw some UAD plugins here on the vocal in the drop. Most of the volume is coming from this LA2A plugin. So as you can see, these plugins offer some really disrespectful harmonics, compression, EQing, even reverbs and delays. Mixing EDM vocals with UAD plugins is an absolute breeze. So there you have it. I hope you found all the plugins, chains, and techniques in this tutorial useful, and I'll catch you guys next time with another video. Peace out.